Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today I am flushed because apparently it is hot. I don't know what is happening. It is supposed to be fall. I'm not amused. So today we are going to do my September book haul. There may be a part 2, but I'm not going to guarantee it. This is all the books that I have acquired in the second half of August and the first part of September. I've talked about nearly all of these on my channel. I will link the reviews of the books that I've already spoken about in the cards. Let's dive in. So I'm going to be doing a review of this. This was sent to me by the publisher. This is the Diver's Game by Jess Ball, and this is the author of Census. I don't know if you remember Census. It was going around quite a bit on Instagram mostly. It had a picture of a swan, I believe, on the cover. This one is a dystopian. Now, this one is the dystopian in a kind of interesting way. So it's the premise of basically what happens when immigrants get looped into a world where the law doesn't apply to the harm done to immigrants. So basically the people who have come over for safety and security are at the mercy of all the people who are from that place originally, and the dangers of their life are drastically high. So I liked this book. I'm going to do a full review of it, and I would recommend it. Next, this one I have not read yet. This is Docology. This is by Nell Zink. I've been curious about Nell Zink for a while. I know her stuff is darker, and a little bit more literary fiction sort of thing. I've seen it as very lyrical, supposedly, so we'll see how I feel about this. This is the story of Pam, Daniel, and Joe, who are struggling musicians, and I believe, so this is going to be interesting. So you follow these three characters, and then September 11th happens. You know that from the blurb in the book. And then you follow them from there on out, and the political system and how things have changed and the shifts. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be weird to see history in a way that's more, and I'm not sure if it's accurate history. Yeah. I'm not sure if it follows like Bush and Obama accurately, and if it follows our history, but I know it discusses climate change and immigration and politics and all of that, and it dives into that world and activism. So I'm very curious about this. I am super excited to read it, and I am looking forward to it. I just realized I did not tell you who sent this to me. It was Echo. And they are an imprint of, I believe, HarperCollins. Yes, they're an imprint of HarperCollins. Then I was sent 2 books by Zink Books. Both of these. So the first one is Jennifer Militello, Knock Wood. This is a memoir of a woman, and it's supposed to be a coming of age sort of history of a family sort of story. The thing that drew me into it is she has a mentally ill aunt who's in an abusive relationship, and I thought that would be an interesting storyline. And then there is discussion of extramarital affairs, significant events, felonies, and heroin. So it's all kind of those basic darker human instincts that you follow, and that kind of darker history of world when mental health gets a little bit warped. So I'm looking forward to this. This should be interesting. And then this one's going to be difficult. I'm going to review this. This is Boomland by John Egelhart. This one, I'm going to be gentle with this one. This one is about a mass shooting. I don't plan to discuss gun violence in terms of, like, my beliefs and all of that. That might come up. But the discussion of hate and all of those things, and what the effects of a mass shooting are going to be, and what it does to the victims and to those who witnessed or were directly affected, that's where this is going to go. We're not going to go into the shooter's mind. We're not going to go into that kind of thing. I'm not touching that. I'm not arguing that. This is about the victims. So that is where we're going to go with that. Book of the month pick for September is The Chestnut Man by Soren Sylvestrom. This one is a thriller, and it's about a sociopath who is terrifying Copenhagen. Yep, it's going to be really creepy. It's a good, chunky book, and I look forward to reading it probably in October. I think it's another Swedish thriller. I really like Swedish thrillers. Then I was sent this for review. This is out in April 2020. This is The Unsuitable by Molly Pollig. So this one is about a haunting, kind of. It's about a Victorian woman who is in the verge of spinsterhood, and her father is trying to marry her off. But she's trying to please both her father and her dead mother, who is haunting her. It's gonna be interesting. I'm really curious about it. Yeah. And it's bringing her closer and closer to madness as she tries to feel out for both of them. So right up my alley. Then there is this. I read and reviewed this in my August wrap-up. I will link that in the cards. This is The Doll Factory. This is by Elizabeth McNeil. This is gruesome. Like I said, I get Perfume vibes, the book Perfume. It's got that grotesqueness. It's really dark. If you don't like things like animal torture and child murder, probably not for you. I'm not a big fan of either of those things, but I felt the book was worth reading anyway. Maybe not everyone would agree with me. This is dark. It's about obsession and stalkerish behaviors and very strange occurrences. And I believe this is a Victorian London. So it's right in that dark, creepy time frame that we all love to read about so much. This I did a full review on. I will link it up in the cards. This is What Red Was by Rosie Price. This is one of my favorite books of the year so far. I am absolutely obsessed with it. This is a story of a woman who is sexually assaulted, and then her response and the people around her's response to that assault, and how she pushes people away and tries to get away from people and gets angrier and angrier. It's so good. It's so good. I loved it. So I will link my review up in the cards. Then I owned this before, and I read it, and I felt good about it, but I sold it. and I regretted it about a week or two ago. So I picked it up again. This is The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filler. This one is talking about mental health, specifically schizophrenia. So I like it. I want it on my shelves, which I'm happy I have it now. But I would say from what I know, this is an accurate depiction. However, the author has gone on to write a nonfiction of the discussion of schizophrenia, and he refers to it as so-called schizophrenia, which leads me to believe that he himself is not entirely on board with the diagnosis. So it's interesting that he would write a pretty accurate depiction of that diagnosis. I'm very curious about it. I need to read it again and really digest it and go through it and compare my research of schizophrenia since I read that and how that looks. And then this is the last book that I picked up. This is The Testament by Margaret Atwood. I've done a full review of it. I will link it up in the cards. Not my favorite book of the year. Not my favorite book of all time. Not even a favorite. It's just decent. I liked it. I would read it again. I've loaned it out to my mother, so my mother is reading it now. It's a fair connection to the handmade world, but it is not all I think it is cracked up to be. So there's that. So those are all the books that I have picked up in the last half of August and the first half of September. I hope you guys like this. If you have any thoughts, let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, click that subscribe button down below. I will talk to you all in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.